Be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Resist him firm in your faith. For anyone who's been in religious life for some time, they've probably read this scripture during Compline thousands of times. We just heard it during our own Compline service, and will no doubt read it thousands of times to come. About 50 years after the death and resurrection of Christ, a disciple of Peter's wrote these words in a letter to various Christian congregations scattered across Asia Minor. These groups were experiencing the beginnings of persecution for their beliefs, about which the author referred to as your adversary. The lawful prohibition of Christian practices was what the author of this epistle was warning them about. He was imploring them to be firm in their faith and to resist this demonic influence. Keep in mind that the devil to them came in three forms. First, disguised as an angel. Second, as a sly, cunning serpent. And finally, as one who is all-consuming and ever-threatening, ready to devour them like a lion. Religious persecution was their lion. Today, we're under no such threat, though some on the religious right would have us believe otherwise. Apparently, the fact that our cups of mochaccino aren't emblazoned with Merry Christmas constitutes a demonic influence ready to devour our society. Starbucks is their lion. As Lent began, I began wondering about what I should give up for the next few weeks. There's a website operated by a fellow named Joe in New York City that's primarily geared toward a left-leaning audience. He updates this website a few times a day with political news and stories of the day, primarily geared toward this left-leaning audience. If Trump is caught in a lie, it's on there immediately. If a family values politician or evangelist is caught having an extramarital affair, especially if it's somebody with somebody of the same sex, it's immediately on this site. Joe has been updating a lot lately. I found myself looking at updates several times a day, and even worse, taking more delight in reading the hundreds of salacious comments that the readers would post following each news story. Throughout the day, I'd be filled with righteous indignation, consumed with feelings of justified revenge, and loving the delicious revenge and feelings of superiority that I felt that it gave me toward these politicians and preachers and hypocrites. These are not feelings that someone should have who is vowed to contemplation. Feeling superior isn't conducive to our vow of humility. Righteous indignation goes against tenderness. Even my view of justice became skewed and dark and ugly. This website was my lion, so I gave it up, swiped it off my home screen. As we enter this season of reflection and introspection, I'd like to pose this question. What is your lion? More specifically, what is your lion with regard to our vows of justice, tenderness, humility, and contemplation? Our vow of justice calls us to live a life of gospel-centered simplicity. Now, how easy it is to get caught up in obtaining more and more possessions in our rampant consumer-based society.